Right, 15 September 2024, and today I'm going to be giving you a quick update. And yesterday was my birthday, so we never managed to have the evening session because I was obviously traveling. And I apologize if my internet is not so stable as I am moving around. So today is going to be a very big day. Something very big is going to happen. And as I've said, Mnangagwa is planning to go into the Great Zimbabwe to celebrate his birthday. And they have currently set up tents around the Great Zimbabwe. They were afraid to go inside the Great Zimbabwe. They have not set up their tents inside the Great Zimbabwe because, as I said, that was going to be a disaster. Something big was going to happen to Mnangagwa if he had attempted to go inside the Great Zimbabwe as his original plan was, which was to hold the birthday celebration right inside the Great Zimbabwe. So what Mnangagwa has done and his people is that they've now put tents outside the Great Zimbabwe, and they have set up a smaller function. Initially, they thought that 30,000 people were going to come, but it's clear that that number is not going to show up. And many people are opposed to Mnangagwa's plans to hold his birthday inside the Great Zimbabwe, which is a spiritual center of our country. And many traditional leaders have also advised Mnangagwa against this plan, as something bad is going to happen if Mnangagwa goes inside the Great Zimbabwe to hold his birthday celebration. So Mnangagwa is chickened out and is now going to be holding this celebration outside of the Great Zimbabwe and not inside as originally planned. So let's see what happens. Let's see if Mnangagwa manages to respect the wishes of the traditional leaders who have told him that he cannot hold his birthday celebrations inside the great enclosure, as it will bring him so much bad luck. Mnangagwa would face untold spiritual consequences if he goes in and holds his birthday inside the Great Zimbabwe. This has never been done. It's unheard of that a person goes inside this Great Zimbabwe to hold his birthday celebrations. So let's see what happens. As I said, they've set up the tents outside. Right now, you'll be seeing live within a few hours. There'll be a live broadcast of Mnangagwa's birthday celebrations. They're also going to be handing out residential stands, and Mnangagwa is going to be issuing a speech over here. I also want to see who's going to appear at this birthday celebration, as General Chiwenga is currently in Bulawayo. So yesterday, General Chiwenga and Keno Miniotabo were in Bulawayo, where they were holding a church service. So there was a church service at Magwegwe, where General Chiwenga was with the second lady. So they were over there. So let's see if they go over to Mashingo. And if they go inside the Great Zimbabwe, it will be a trap. You can see that it's a spiritual trap. Whoever goes into this thing with Mnangagwa is going to come out with the severe political and spiritual consequences. So we're just watching. It's going to be a big day today, and many people are going to be affected by Mnangagwa's plans. This plan is very bad. This is the worst plan that has ever been done by anybody to enter the Great Zimbabwe. And you're going to see by tomorrow, we'll be talking a different story if these guys enter here. Then I want to quickly take you through some stories that have taken place. So let's go through the newspapers. We start with the Standard newspaper. And the Standard newspaper is reporting that Tshabangu has fired everyone. So that includes Welshman Ncube, all these guys who were in the Gweru structures. He has fired those structures, and he's created his own advisory committee of 5. And this comes after he received legal advice that the term of office of everyone was elected in May 2021 So that was May 2019. Their terms of office has expired. So that is the time when Chamisa was elected, and all the other committee people or the executive committee of the CCC or MDC, their terms of offices came to an end. So what Tshabangu has been advised is that he's the only person right now who is currently a valid leader of the CCC, and the rest of the people like Ncube, they failed to hold the Congress, and therefore they are no longer true members or leaders of the CCC. So Tshabangu is now the only one, and is going to establish a committee to lead the CCC, which means we now have another change coming up through into the CCC. Welshman Ncube and all the other guys have just been used, and Tshabangu is going to continue with his plans. Then I want to go to South Africa, and this is very big. What has happened in South Africa is one of the biggest events that you can ever imagine. So on your screen is South African billionaire Patrice Motsepe. So Patrice Motsepe is trending today in the press because his company has lost over 1 billion worth of gemstones or tagilites that were being exported illegally or smuggled out of South Africa. And these were mined by his company, Africa Rainbow Minerals, and another company called Asmank and Aso. So those companies were mining in Mpumalanga in an area where they do not have a license. The license was held by a company called PP Gemstones, and this belonged to the Pitso Matevesi Family Trust. So what has happened is that although Pitso Matevesi and PP Gemstones had the license, billionaire Patrice Motsepe has a mine in that area, and they started to mine these sodalite gemstones. However, this is not allowed. If you've got a license to mine something else, you can't mine another thing. So there was then a conflict, and Pitso Matevesi then went to SARS and complained. The gemstones, which are worth about 1 billion rands, were being exported illegally by a Chinese man, and they were seized by SARS. And SARS is refusing to hand back the gemstones. They're also refusing to hand these back to the police. So a massive loss of about 1 billion rands. These gemstones were being kept in drums and plastics. So it was actually an illegal export or smuggling. So let's see what happens. These guys are powerful. Let's see if they get into trouble. Like normal people would get into trouble if they were smuggling something. But at the moment, 1 billion loss for this have been seized by the South African Revenue Authority. Then another trending story in South Africa is the collapse of South Africa Vice President. The South African Vice President has collapsed yesterday while giving a speech at a traditional ceremony in Limpopo. So Vice President Paul Mashatile was in the middle of a speech when he collapsed, and he had to be carried off the stage. And this happened according to Poppy Ramatuba there on your screen because of the heat. However, the previous day, the Vice President of South Africa had indicated that he had food poisoning. So let's see what happens and what is his conditions currently. So as we speak right now, I believe that the Vice President of South Africa is in hospital after being airlifted or carried to hospital after collapsing on stage. So you can go and check it out on all platforms. That is all platforms in South Africa. This is trending news. Then obviously, the last piece of news that I'm having here is Jacob Mafome is big, is everywhere. And you can see him on the screen. He's handing over a residential stand to Knox, the musician. Knox is celebrating 20 years of his musical career. And what Mafome has done is given him a residential stand in Mount Pleasant. So Knox is a resident in South Africa, and Maffume has revealed that he was the first manager of Knox as a musician. So that's amazing revelation. Maffume is everywhere. He's also the only mayor that has congratulated Mnangagwa on his birthday. So you can go check it out there. And this is crazy. He's the only guy who is also been all over the place. I saw him yesterday at the US Embassy welcoming the new ambassador. So he's all over the place. I cannot say anything about Maffume. I don't know what his game plan is, but he's the only one who's accepting Mnangagwa's government. He's the only one who is moving around. And let's see what happens now that Tshabangu has fired everybody. And I'm obviously going to show you video of this. I'll try to get to this video of General Chiwenga with Second Lady Minotabo. I saw her dancing yesterday, so we need to record that for future purposes. Now, I want to see if the newspapers have published. Let's start with Sunday news. If they haven't published, I'll come back later. So there's no Sunday news. There's no Sunday Mail, Zimbabwe, right? So there's no Sunday Mail, Zimbabwe. And so we're going to bring this to an end. I'm not going to take your time. And as I said, I'm not at home. I've been celebrating my birthday here, about 100 kilometers from Cape Town. I am in a place called Hermanas. I showed you a video yesterday. You can go check it out of what I did yesterday. So I'll be moving around quite a bit. And within the next few months or few days, I need to travel and go and see Trump for the elections. Not see Trump. I will go and I'll probably have to go and cover the elections in the United States. So I'm making plans to go over there. That would be amazing if I was to go over the States. You guys will get to see the action on the ground. So let's see if I manage to go to the United States to cover the elections. So that is the big plan that we have right now. Chamisa has been rather quiet. I do not know what Chamisa's game plan is, but I've got nothing to say about what Chamisa is doing right now. He's been featuring online, tweeting verses and Bible verses, and I don't believe that is Chamisa who is tweeting over there. I believe that there is an imposter who is tweeting on behalf of Chamisa, and this person is trying to do something strange. I've managed to talk to Prince Durekos Banda. He's out. He's currently receiving medical attention after he went to jail. Very unwell right now. Prince Durekos Banda is feeling very sick, and he has been ordered by the doctors to just lie down and rest for at least 2 weeks. So that is what he was told by doctors. Prince Durekos Banda was released on bail. Very, very sick. And I'm going to be revealing more details about what's happening with Prince Durekos Banda within the next 2 weeks because of that arrest and incarceration, and also the conditions and circumstances leading to his arrest. So let's recap, and I'll be back later tonight, depending on where I am, because I'm moving around this whole 2 days, celebrating Gambakwe birthday. Obviously, that's an amazing event that happens once a year. So let's recap. Mnangagwa has chickened out on his plans to enter the Great Zimbabwe and celebrate his birthday inside, after being advised by traditional leaders that if he does it, he's going to face severe spiritual and political consequences. So let's see who goes to the Great Zimbabwe today, who is brave enough to go up against the spirits of the country. Let's see whether Mnangagwa defies all the advice and enters the Great Zimbabwe here to celebrate his birthday. That has never been done. He's now calling himself Mutapa, but if he makes this mistake, Mnangagwa is going to suffer severe spiritual and political consequences. And by tomorrow, we're going to see something big will happen. And Mnangagwa will suffer the severe consequences. Let's look at the comments quickly. Mkoma Brighton said, Idi anonyora akapinda mukati mu Great Zimbabwe. Yes, the Great Zimbabwe is like the Bermuda Triangle, one of 7 places, which is a spiritual portal. So if you enter the Great Zimbabwe, you're entering a spiritual portal. It's a way to enter a different world of the spirits. That's why you see Kuti, the Great Zimbabwe. No one knows who built it and how they built it. That is because it's a spiritual portal. The art and geometry used here is the spirits and of the what we call the ancestors or the spirits of the nation, not only Zimbabwe but internationally. And what Mnangagwa is trying to do is very dangerous spiritually. And let's see what he does if he manages to do it and pull it off. If he manages to dominate us all spiritually, like he's planning to do, to dominate the country of Zimbabwe spiritually by going inside the Great Zimbabwe and try to override everything that we know in the world, so that Mnangagwa can become the leader of the world. That is what he's trying to do. He's trying to enter the spiritual portal so that he becomes the leader of the whole world, because that is one of the portals. And Mnangagwa knows, Guti, whoever dominates the world spiritually becomes the leader of the world. So let's see if his plan is going to work. But all I can tell you is that things are going to turn out very badly today. You are going to see something that you've never seen before if Mnangagwa enters the Great Zimbabwe to do what he's planning to do. So I'd like to thank all of you, and thank you all for your best wishes, and thank you for all the guys that have sent me presents to Pfumojena.com. That was amazing. That is how I managed to come over here and have this amazing day. So today we're going to continue moving around, and I'll see you guys later tonight if I'm in a place with internet. Otherwise, I'll see you tomorrow morning. So let's watch out. Within the next 3 or 4 hours, we're going to see the beginning of the end of Mnangagwa if he enters the Great Zimbabwe, where the spirits are watching carefully to see what he does. Thank you very much, everyone, for watching.